Hi, I'm Marina, and we know Emancipation Day is around the corner, so I'm going to show you how to make my favorite Nigerian dish, cassava fufu and Nigerian chicken stew. So cassava fufu is very popular in Nigeria, and it is also called swallow. There's also cornmeal fufu, which is made from cornmeal, and you can also mix cassava and plantain together to make fufu. And for the stew, we'll be using tomatoes, scotch bonnet pepper, bell peppers, and ginger, and freshly chopped chicken. And to begin the fufu, we're going to peel the cassava and cut it up into small cubes to put it into the blender. Okay, so we're gonna cut up the cassava into cubes so that we'll be able to blend it properly when you put it in the blender. So you wanna get it in a kind of puree. So that's why I need to cut it in really small cubes. And you also need to take out any bad parts that have in the cassava as well. Okay, so we ended up with 5 cups of cassava and we have 1 cup of water here. So we're gonna put the cassava into the blender, pour water into the blender as well, and then start to blend. And as we blend, we'll see if we need to add more water so we can get a kind of pasty consistency. So you just need to check that the cassava is being blended properly. So you need like a spoon, just mix it around to make sure that it's getting all of them getting blended. Okay, so this is the consistency that we want to get. It's kind of like when you're making coconut milk, that kind of grated coconut milk texture. That's the consistency you want. Okay, so now that we've finished blending the cassava, you're gonna cook it in the pot. And then as soon as you finish cooking it, you have to put it into cling wrap. So I've already have 4 pieces here. So I'm gonna make 1 more piece of cling wrap, about this big. Place it on your surface. Right, and now we're going to pour some of the cassava into the pot to start cooking. Right, and you're gonna mix as fast as you could, preferably with a wooden spoon, and the cassava will start to get a kind of tacky texture. It'll start to look very gluey as you mix it. And you want to have your fire on a medium heat. So if you've ever made kuku before, it's very similar to that. As in when the cornmeal starts to cook, it kind of gets tacky. That's when you know it's ready. Cooking the fufu usually takes about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, according to how big your pot is. And I started making fufu last year during the lockdown. Some of my Nigerian friends showed me how to make it, and I also watch a lot of YouTube videos to get the texture just right. So the first time I made fufu, I didn't know about this plastic trick. So when I put it into my plate, it just kind of spread out, and that's not how it's supposed to be. When you put it in the plastic, it kind of keeps all the moisture and gives it a kind of nice sheen so that you can take nice pics for Instagram now. So you can see that the fufu is starting to get really thick and sticky. You see? That's consistency. the starches in the cassava start to get really gelatinous. See that texture? Yeah. Right, so as soon as it gets this consistency and you see that all the fufu in the pot is cooked, you're gonna go over to your plastic, right, and portion it out. So into the plastic. So traditionally, they would make fufu in a huge mortar and pestle, but we don't really have access to that, so that's where the plastic comes in to give it that smooth ball-like texture. So once it's in the plastic, take all 4 ends, hold it together, twist, and be careful not to burn your hands. And then kind of press it down and roll it a little, and then flip it over so that the ends will be on the bottom. Okay, so for the first step in making Nigerian chicken stew, you're going to take the chicken and put it into a pot of boiling water together with some onions and garlic and ginger. Okay, so we're gonna let the chicken boil for about 5 minutes. And this will help infuse the flavors of the garlic, ginger, and onion into the chicken. 5 minutes has passed, so we're gonna take the chicken out of the boiling water and put it back into our bowl, right? Okay, so we're gonna put about ½ cup of oil into our pot, just enough to cover the base of the pot, so we could fry the chicken a little. We're starting to put the chicken into the oil now. Okay, so the chicken is almost done frying, and as you can see, that nice golden texture, that nice little crust over the chicken, that's what we want. So you'll take it out now. We let it fry for about 1 minute on each side, 1 to 2 minutes. And it's really important that you cut your chicken into small pieces. That way you can get a nice crunch in each bite. Okay, so into the blender, we're going to put 4 tomatoes, right? 1 sweet pepper, 1 Scotch bonnet pepper, and 1 red onion. And if you don't want the spice, you can leave out the Scotch bonnet, right? And you're gonna put ½ cup of water, and we are going to blend until it's a puree. Okay, so now that we've finished blending the ingredients for the base of the stew, we're going to pour it into the same pot that we just fried the chicken in. So we'll turn the fire up to about medium and let it cook for about 5 minutes. About 5 minutes has passed and the sauce has just changed to this really rich red color. So into the sauce, you're gonna put a bay leaf, right, and stir it in. And now we're gonna add in the chicken that we fried earlier. And kind of stir the sauce over the chicken so they all get coated in the sauce, right? And to that, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of curry powder and salt and pepper to taste. And give that a good stir. Okay, so we're gonna ladle some of the water that we boiled the chicken in into the stew. And try to get garlic or ginger that you use to boil into that stew as well. So we're gonna add enough water to cover the chicken and let the chicken cook for about 15 minutes. So the chicken is ready. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. So now is the best part. Time to plate it. So you're taking the fufu out of the plastic. So you can see that the wrapping it in the plastic gives it that nice circular shape. And we're gonna put some chicken stew with it. And usually we eat it with our hands, right? So you break off a piece and you take some sauce and you taste. Perfect. Once it's cooked well, it would not stick to your fingers or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. And the Nigerian stew is very spicy and you get the flavors of the tomato and the scotch bonnet pepper and the crispiness of the chicken. Perfection. So you see how easy it was to make Nigerian chicken stew and fufu. So I hope that you try it, and happy Emancipation Day, and thanks for watching.